Hello and welcome. It's a good day to be on the farm. My name is Chuck, and this is Erlengrat Flour Mill episode 22. If you guys were watching the last episode, in episode 21, we finally got cows on the farm, and that, of course, took quite a lot of doing. Um, there was a lot of things that we had to deal with to get that made. Officially, we had to go get the water. And I think that's where we left off on the last episode. Since then, I have been working on baling up all of the hay bales around the farm that were in the margins, because you guys watched me bale, I think, 5 or 6 in the last episode, and we had a worker running on this field to run the power harrow over it to get this field state that you're seeing now on the right hand side of the screen. On the left hand side you can see where I've planted. This is that combined seeder that is supposed to be able to do both, run the harrow and seed in the single pass, because it's got those two parts that I think I was showing you how we separated them in episode, I want to say 11 or 12, maybe 10, I think episode 10. Anyway, but for whatever reason we were not available or allowed to go ahead and plant straight into a harvested state on the field without changing the field state beforehand. So on this field we actually had the worker run the harrow over the whole thing for us, and then we had to come back, and now we're essentially harrowing it a second time and then planting, because we still have that implement attached, as you can see there. We're going to go ahead and pull off of this, go ahead and just lift that up, turn that off, and we'll turn around here, and it is dark. I'm not surprised because it is September, but it got pretty dark pretty fast here. So the other thing I learned was that our Zetter is not able to do this. We had to, well, here, let me just back up. Sorry about that camera angle there. I was just trying to get this lined up, but I was trying to show you which tractor we were in as well. I'm going to go ahead and just shut that off. So this is our McCormick. So if I hop out, I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me turn on my flashlight. There we go. McCormick. So this is our McCormick tractor. Our Zetter could not pull this with the harrow on it. It said 160, but it required more. We were going like 4 miles an hour, so we had to switch the tractors out to the McCormick to get this going on planting. So let me just flip those lights. I tend to leave my headlights on at night just because I think it helps see around in the dark for videos, and I'm not going to kill the batteries. In real life, obviously, you wouldn't do that because your battery would be dead in the morning. So we're going to go ahead and sleep till the next day, and it is going to be later. We'll still do 8 o'clock and see how bright it is. Anyway, the point being, we did not get that entire field planted. I meant to show you that as well. Ugh, look at these giant weeds. Yeah, not only is it raining and we've got weeds everywhere, but we did get all of the hay picked up, which is nice. So let me show you the map real quick. So we essentially have gotten the whole thing to a stubble tillage. That's what the harrow does. So if we take that off, it's got nothing. But so that stubble tillage is where we've got, and now we've got planted and growing is this first part of the field. We're obviously going to get that done today because we can plant our wheat in October, wheat or barley. But given the fact that our other 2 fields still have straw that needs baled on them, and we can't just do it in one pass like I thought we could, there's no way we're going to get a second field planted in October. I mean, it took us all day, plus it's raining. So we're going to get to deal with all those things. So I did want to show you real quick and we don't drive this very much, so I'm going to go ahead and take this around to show you. Since we are just managing in the rain here. So we did get all this hay picked up, and obviously we got our cows put in over here. Let me kind of avoid that bumpy area. I still need to come back and try to smooth out. But here are our cows. They still have 8,000 liters of food and 5,000 liters of water, so they're doing all right there. That one's not dead, I promise. He's just napping. Anyway, so we've got our 15 cows over here. We're going to jump into the menu and look at them real quick. So these are our brown Swiss cows. They're dairy cows. Their health is getting better. It's up to 56% now. Productivity is at 100%, which is nice. Water is pretty much full. Food is as full as it can get. It's in green. There's no point in feeding them total mixed rations yet because they're not producing anything yet. 0 liters of milk. Obviously, they're 1 month old. So they've got 5% puberty. So it's going to take them 18 or 20 months or something like that to get that done as well. And then they can start reproducing calves. And at that point, we'll probably sell some off to make room for some of the calves in the field here. But they'll do all right. So like I said, they're doing great for now. We're just going to kind of keep them fed and watered throughout the next year. We did get all that hay off, and on our trailer we actually had 4 silage bales here. So eventually we are going to make TMR. So I stacked these bales up here. We had 32 hay bales total. 2 of them we put into the facility, 24 got stacked on the trailer, and then we had 6 remaining, so we put them on the trailer with these silage bales and dropped them up here. Obviously we'll feed the next 2 straight out of here, and then we'll leave the 4 and 4 for mixing TMR later in the year if we get our mixing wagon done in time. Normally you wouldn't want to leave hay bales out in the rain because then they're just going to get wet and start rotting and turn into silage. We've still got 4 complete silage loads here, so 4 trailer loads, so this should be 96 bales of silage that are all ready to sell. We're going to check the price later today and see if we want to do that today or if we want to wait till tomorrow. And then to be as realistic as possible, I stacked the other hay bales down here under the awning of our garage here. So this is the best I could come up with. We're not building a separate shelter for them or a shed because we can't afford it right now. We only have $4,000 and we've got a pretty big loan we're paying interest on. But here's our 24 other hay bales that are going to stay dry over the winter under the awning of our garage here next to our field. So first thing we need to do today is obviously get that planter going again. But in order to, like, the setup is not working out as well as I had hoped it would. Let's drive in here. So right here is our plow. We need to change the field state from harvested. Let me shut this door. From harvested to something else before we plant, apparently. Which, again, what we did yesterday, or in the last video, was we ran this harrow over the entire field. Then we came back over with the seeder, but the seeder's also running a harrow, so it's kind of redundant to do that part twice. So this is our plow, and I went back and watched an old video and checked. We were able to plant with that seeder and that harrow straight into a plowed field. And the nice thing about that too is if you plow it, you don't get weeds. So I think for the other 2 fields, rather than running a harrow, a 4-meter harrow over it, and then running the harrow again with the seeder, which is redundant and literally took all of September to do, we're just going to plow the fields, which will get rid of those weeds, and then we'll be able to run our seeder and our harrow together to take it from a plowed status into the status that we have. So there's that. Eggs, got a pallet and a little bit extra going on there. I'm pretty sure they're just fine for food, but we'll just run over here and check real quick. So they have 7,800 liters, and we still have 15,000 liters of food sitting in that trailer, so they're doing just fine. And coming over here, bread-wise, we've got 5 pallets of bread, which we can do something with as well today. So I think the goal will be, let's go ahead and park this back up. Well, actually, let's just keep our realism, in quotes, going by running our four-wheeler down to get this other one started. So, yeah, look at how tall those weeds are. I do not like how this looks on our field. One, leaving the straw out for, you know, a month or two like we have, it would get washed away in this rain or get ruined, and then letting all those weeds grow that tall. We've got a lot of work to do to get those fields turned around. So this field's looking pretty good. As you can see, there are some rocks in this field that the harrows went over it, but we're not gonna spend time with a rock picker right now trying to get that done, because that's just gonna change the state again, which we just spent an entire day getting this thing to this stubble tillage state with that harrow. So, and then the wheat we planted yesterday is already growing and has medium weeds on it, which is not great. So we're gonna have to do something about weeds on this field as well. So anyway, we're gonna get this guy planting again, because we're gonna need pretty much all day to do this. Normally you wouldn't want to plant in the rain, but I'm just worried about how long it literally took us at 4 meters to get the rest of this field done. I don't want to take any chances about not getting this done today. So we're gonna get this guy going, jump out of there, and we're gonna just check our map and make sure he's getting that planted. Yep, and so he's adding an extra row there, so that's being planted just fine. So we went ahead and got that worker started. Now we're going to run back and get our, where did I leave my four-wheeler? Here it is. We're going to run back, get the Zetter, and we'll start packing or stacking those bread pallets. So again, this is the only field, unfortunately, we're going to get planted with wheat or barley this year, but that's okay. We had a big harvest, and we're making bread, which is what we need to be doing. So we'll let all that go. Number one priority is obviously getting that, and then number two, we're going to have to come back with the baler and get all the straw off of field 15 or field 16. Probably do 15 next. Get all the straw off, and then we'll go ahead and just plow it. And that should take care of the weeds if we plow it. So it should sit just fine till we plant it in the spring. So, and then obviously we'll jump over and do the next thing on the other one as well, and then maybe we'll even fertilize field 14 today, depending on how that all works out. So where do I want to park this? Let's bring it in here. I want it to be out of the way a little bit. We are going to need the baler. Look at how big. Like, the baler doesn't look very big when you're driving a tractor, but look at, like, a dude on a four-wheeler, that baler is huge in comparison. So we know we don't need this harrow right now, so let's just park in front of that. And we need to get the arms in this trailer. I wonder if we pull that forward, if we should just stack it in here. Now we'll probably bring it over. So we're going to get this trailer. We should get those eggs out of the rain too, but I guess since we have the trailer attached, let's just do that now. I've already got 8,000 liters of eggs in here, which, if I remember right, last year we sold about 13,000 liters of eggs, and we got around 39 $5,000 for them. I wish I knew which month offhand, but unfortunately I don't. But got some eggs off of there, so we'll go ahead and shut this down. So we're going to obviously be unloading some eggs here in the near future, as well as getting some bread sold. Not that the price is coming up, and then we've got silage. So we should be actually doing all right money-wise here in the near future once we start selling some of this stuff off. And I can't come over here till I get my arms on. So again, we're going to be stacking bread with the front loader on the Zetter, which in a previous episode where we did that, I think episode 13, or episode 12, I don't know, somewhere around 8 or 9, 10 episodes ago, last time we had to do this, I had talked about not wanting to use the front loader on the Zetter. Oh, it's not attaching because I have a weight on, which makes sense. So let's find a nice convenient spot to drop off the weight. The weight should really be either on the back of this while we're loading, but bread pallets aren't that heavy, or it should be out there on the front of the McCormick to balance off that planter, but neither of those seem to be what we're doing today, so alright. So I had said I did not like stacking with this tractor because of the way it shifts. But we're going to do it again today because we need that other tractor for the bigger job. So that's just kind of what we're left with. And there's a bird in my barn. Well, this is why we wanted 2 tractors in the first place. So I'm just grateful that we have 2 tractors and that we can do this. Because it's better than not having the ability to do it, I suppose. So let's, is that how we want to line this up? Pull forward just a little bit. Alright, so let's get these pallets loaded up. And we might actually just run this bread over now. We'll check the price, but bread is what we're making right now. This is the end of our production supply chain, and the sooner we get some money, the sooner we can start paying out that loan and stop losing so much interest month over month, which needs to be our goal at this point. Yeah, we're going to take a wide turn here and get this last row added on. Right about here. And we're going to take this strap off there so we can slide this on. So our bread is what we're making, so it's always good to be making more. And we'll stop that there and then just kind of pull back from there. So this is where that front loader might have been nice to get from the sales, but obviously we got $4,000 and we've got a loan we need to pay off, so it was a good deal, but we have enough equipment that we can do it, and thankfully our Zetter does fit the same front loader arms and pallet forks that our McCormick does. So we haven't, sometimes if you get a big tractor and a little tractor, you'll have to use different arms on them. So then you have to buy a second set of front loader arms and a second set of forks or bale spikes or whatever. All of that stuff adds up. So obviously the goal would be to not, you know, oops, I'm gonna poking through there a little bit. Yeah, so I don't want to do that. I want to kind of do this, and then we're just going to give that a little push to kind of straighten those out. And we're just going to push on this back corner just a hair. That's where it gets a little bit delicate. I don't want to push them off the other side, and just like that. And that's pretty well lined up. Not as nice as the first 2 rows that we did, but it'll work, and they're all on there, which is good. So we've got 3 more. We can just literally put one on top of each of these sets, and that will work pretty good. So, I mean, as much as this Zetter isn't necessarily my favorite tractor, it was a good deal, and it has served us well. And it can pull our baler, which is what we need to do today while the planter is going, and it can pull this pallet of bread, and it can manage this front loader and these forks. So really, I've got no complaints. It is the exact piece of equipment that we need, even if it does shift a little different than my McCormick, and it's a little bit harder to use for jobs like this. It does what we need it to, and that is the important thing. So I've got that on there. So, I mean, I can't believe it, guys. Episode 22. This series is moving forward. Obviously, we had some issues with the ground on where we placed our cows, but it's working. It's not ideal, but it's the best that we could do on short notice. I think eventually, if we want to keep the dairy part of this going, we're going to have to sacrifice some field space to put on some actual big cow barns, and then we'll just go ahead and delete that other one that we had put on. Or maybe we can just start calves in the little one where they're not producing anything anyway, and then, you know, have a bigger shed for the cows, or I don't know, something. We'll figure it out in the future. So I don't think I'll be placing any more of those $75,000 pastures on hills anymore. I think the next time I get one, I'll place it flat on a field, or we'll buy the bigger one that automatically waters and gives you slurry and manure. So again, we don't need a ton of milk. We're not necessarily trying to start a dairy. We just need enough milk to start making butter, so for our bakery. So we'll, you know, this is not a problem we have to deal with right away, because we're really just trying to get enough to produce some cakes off of our fields here. So we're going to restrap that, strap that, restrap this, and restrap that, like so. Alright. So let me just check something real quick. Let's see what our price is looking like. It might be a good time just to take these down and sell them directly. Or we're going to store them in the barn again. Let's see, prices. Sad thing is we could really use the money. Where am I missing it? There it is, bread. $28.84. This is October. No, it's a big jump up in November. We want to get closer to 3,000 for our bread. November, December, January, all of those should be good. I mean, we could do just fine if we sold them today, but we don't have to sell them today, so we're just going to bring them in here, store them out of the rain, and go from there. So we'll just pull in a little bit straighter than we did before. And let me just see. We're clearing the door. We're out of the rain. So feeling good about that. Let's... Do we need these front loader arms for anything else? I don't think so. So we're going to go ahead and lower these down. We'll drop those off here. And then we're going to back through the barn here. Oops. And pick up that. This is not the right way to do this. I can't see where I'm going. And I'm not going to be able to turn close enough to do this. AI workers completed their task. No way he's done with that whole field. He is not done with that whole field. Come on, guy. What are you doing? Are you out of seeds? Oh, he is 1%. Alright. Well, let me get this hooked up to the baler. Then we'll run down and buy some seeds. And then hopefully we have enough seeds to finish our job today. Then we'll get busy baling up that straw off field 15. And then we'll start plowing that too. So that's kind of the plan for the rest of this episode. In fact, this episode will probably be over long before we even get that baler going. So let's just run this guy down to the field. Or to the store, I mean. Refill him with some more seeds. And get him going again on planting, and then that'll probably actually do it for this episode. So I appreciate you guys hanging with me through this process. I hope it's been as fun for you. It's been fun for me. It is interesting to see this farm evolving. Like, it's not turned out the way that I intended it originally, but I've actually been very happy with a lot of the decisions we've made, and our ability to have all that silage ready to sell right now is going to be a great benefit for us. Silage also isn't going to be at its highest price yet. It'll be at its highest price next month. So if we can get through today without needing to sell anything, I think that will be what we do. So we're looking at big bags of seed. So 2 big bags of seed. We'll see how much that fills. I'm going to open that up and then come down here. Our only problem is we're going to be, if we sleep overnight after this, we're definitely going to be in the red tomorrow morning, because that loan interest is going to come out and slow us down. Wish I had the front loader on here. I could carry that bag of seed back with me, but that's okay. So we're at our capacity here at 1,800 liters. Oh, I need that weight. I'm doing a little bit of a wheelie around the turns, and my front tires aren't on the ground, so I don't turn as tight as I would like to. This guy making a turn? He is. Sorry, guy. Big equipment coming through. So we will drop this seeder off. Well, nah, we'll just start the worker going again. Anyway, but yeah, so the plan will be basically, while this worker is finishing up seeding on field 14, I'll start baling and then plowing field 15, and then we'll, it'll pretty much be the winter, and we'll just keep the cows and the chickens going, and go from there. So let's see. He needs to start right about here. I need to see what I'm doing. So get those lights going. And set this guy off here. Of course, he turns off the lights as soon as I hire him. Alright, guys. Well, that is going to do it for episode 22. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.